at Clun Castle, which you can see behind me. So just tell you a little bit about Clun. Clun was a town that was originally held by a famous Shropshire character, a Saxon lord known as Edric the Wild, who is now known as Wild Edric. So he had Clun, the stronghold of Clun, and then when the Normans came, the Norman invasion, it was taken over. He tried to hold Clun, but he lost it to the Normans, and then one of the Norman lords, I can't remember his name, but he built the castle, I think just after 1066, after the Norman invasion, and it was a way of kind of containing the marshes and keeping control, as a number of castles built around here to control the Welsh. Unfortunately it didn't, because it was Clun was ransacked and overrun twice by two Welsh lords, including Owen Glendower, who burnt the castle down apparently, and then I guess they took it back again, but the castle wasn't rebuilt. But it's a fantastic castle, and we got some great pictures of it last night, and there were lots of bats flying around. So if you ever come to Clun, you should definitely visit the castle.
Steady old climb out of Clun, isn't it, that?
Yep, and it's really humid already.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sweating.
The haymaking we were talking about might have been spoiled a bit with the drizzle.
Yep, but it's good for us.
It is good for us. What happened to the tea room?
God knows. I think they got rid of it and put a great big barn there instead, and thought, let's just make some money in property instead.
Is it not a bit of a problem if we lose all our tea shops and little big local businesses like that to property speculation? Is that not a bit of a problem? Does that not actually ruin the economy and ruin local livelihoods?
It doesn't create jobs, does it? People move in, and then there's no tea rooms for the people to go to. And also there's no tea rooms for the walkers to stop at, which is a bit of a shame.
Helios is starting to come through that layer of cloud.
I was saying, what a lovely wood.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right.
Yeah.
About the wood. Because he said there's not too many conifers. Apparently the wood's been thinned out and replanted. So it's got more of a mixture of trees. It's called walcott wood, apparently.
So
there's lots of big oaks here.
So this is Bury Ditches. Good one.
The settlement of around 2.6 hectares dates back to about 500 BC. The ramparts overlap around the western entrance to provide further protection from enemy advances, while the eastern entrance is inturned, which means the rings turn in to form a passage intended to draw the enemy into a tight space where they could be easily ambushed. So I guess that's this bit here we're in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we won't get ambushed.
It says that in the Iron Age, the Bury Ditches would have been inhabited by people living in simple round huts within the fortification.
Okay.
Very interesting.
What's the guidebook?
This is the book we've been using, written by John. Gillam. John Gillam. There he is.
Okay.
I just made a note to Rob that we've just passed the first 3 people that we've actually seen walking the Shropshire Way. So it just goes to show really that the Shropshire Way is a great walk, still a little bit of a hidden walk, an unknown walk, and definitely one to do if you want peace and tranquility.
Ever since we've complimented him on how good his directions are, he's gone to cock.
Well, we've just come through the little hamlet called Hopesay, which has a really cute little church, and there was a promise of a tea room, but unfortunately the tea room no longer exists. I guess it might be to do with COVID, and a lot of businesses have just shut because people weren't going to those places, which is a bit sad. Is it silage?
Well, it's silage, yeah, or haylage.
But where will that plastic end up?
Good question. It used to be with silage that you'd like take the tractors out into the field, cart it back to the yard, and you had like a big concrete clamp with high walls, and you'd pile up the silage in there, and then it'd get covered over, pile up a load of old reject tyres that you get from the tyre fitters. You know, all the farmers would take the old tyres off them to weight down the sheeting that goes over the silage, and that sheeting would get reused every year, so you didn't have this plastic waste that comes with baling it like this. So I don't know if it might be that it's better going back to that way of doing things. I don't know. Used to call them bales Doreen's curlers when they first come out, because suddenly started seeing big round bales in the fields everywhere, usually straw, and it just reminded us of the woman next door who used to wear like curlers in her hair that looked exactly like Hilda Ogden off Coronation Street. Hopesay Hill we're just climbing to the top of now. What do you think of Hopesay Hill, Mum?
It's nice, but it's hot.
It has gone hot, hasn't it?
It's gone hot, yeah. There's actually a nice breeze, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's the last one.
Let's have a look where we've been. Easy. Easy. That was a hill fort on top of there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Can't remember what it was called.
Burrow Hill it's called.
Burrow Hill. I was just going to say we've still got harebells as well, but there's a white one here. That's really cool. Apparently that's caused by the same kind of thing that causes albino rabbits and albino people. It's just a pigment difference, but it happens in plants as well. That line of trees reaching away across the hillside very much has the look of an old portway as we're walking towards it.
Good news is Craven Arms is 2.5 miles according to that sign.
So this is a handy thing. We're following a right of way, but it's one that's really quite easy to spot on the compass bearing because there's regular spaced trees in the straight lines that we've been walking along, and that does happen quite a lot across particularly lowland areas. So sometimes even if it's not marked as a right of way, you can see where they once were. It's nice to be able to follow them. Spot the style if you can. And bigger and bolder and rougher and tougher, in other words, sucker, there is no other. I'm the one and only Dominator. I think we've made a decision to call it today at the halfway point at Craven Arms. We added a bit of time with some dodgy directions in the end, and we're well into the heat of the day now. I don't think either of us is feeling the need to continue on and risk finishing in the dark. We have got head torches with us, but it's just not pleasant trying to find your way in that, and that's not what we came for. We came for a holiday. We didn't come to kill ourselves. So I think we're going to call it here at Craven Arms, have a cup of tea, get the train down to Ludlow and enjoy a nice afternoon in Ludlow.
Yeah, I think the best thing is to jump on the train to Ludlow. So from Craven Arms to Ludlow is literally 7 minutes on the train, as opposed to 12 miles of walking. So yeah, we're just going to have a look around Ludlow, go to our hotel, and you really need to start out really early. It's a bit of a dilemma really, because you want to have breakfast and you want to fuel up, but you also need to get going. And actually the guys that we met on the path coming the other way, they were very close to Clun this morning, so they must have started out really early from here, which is obviously the right thing to do.
So what was the history with this pub, Rose and Crown? How old did you say it was?
Apparently it had a licence, I guess that's what they called it, to serve ale in the 1100s, so 1155. Apparently they found records to say that it's one of the oldest pubs, but there's quite a few pubs that claim to be the oldest in England. So yeah, I wonder how many gallons of ale that equates to over the years.
Well, one for me.
A gallon.